Good morning, brothers and sisters. We carry on with our Heavenly Tribe, Hoondok. Chapter 2, Heavenly Parents, Ideal Created the World. Section 3, The Substantial Embodiment of Heavenly Parent Dual Characteristics, Adam and Eve. Heavenly Parents Dual Substantiation. True Parents' Words. God exists as a subject partner with dual characteristics. He manifested his internal masculinity to become substantially visible through Adam as his counterpart, and he manifested his internal femininity substantially through Eve. In other words, human beings represent the investment and substantial embodiment of all that is within God's internal nature. The unification principle defined God as the incorporeal absolute subject partner, the subject partner with dual characteristics in harmony. As a being with dual characteristics, God created Adam and Eve as his substantial second self to reflect his characteristics individually. He intended to become the center in the vertical position when they fully mature and become one flesh with each other, horizontally through love. What this means is that when Adam and Eve reached full maturity, God's masculinity was to reside in Adam's heart and mind, and his femininity in Eve's heart and mind. This, however, does not mean that God is divided. He is the subject partner of these dual characteristics. He can dwell in the heart and mind of both Adam and Eve. Why do we marry? It is to resemble God's form. In order to connect our family, a husband and wife in resemblance to God. To God, we must receive love when we are born, mature in a way that aims to live our life centered on love, and when we pass on to the spirit world, we should pass intent on returning to God's love. Unless you set out focused on the goal of living for others, your path will take you in the wrong direction. Sharing thoughts. The following is recorded in an ancient document. The ancient text's original author is still unknown. Man is at conflict until he finds the rib that he sorry about that. Man is at the conflict until he finds the rib that has been removed from his side. A woman is at conflict until she can return to the embrace of man. The reason for this is for man to seek his half that went out from him, and for woman to return to that place. This is because the two desire to live as one. The American self-improvement author Dale Carnegie said, "There is no person in society that has made his own, and true happiness cannot be found unless the man finds his other half when he returns home." Humans were created as incomplete beings, unable to perform any task on their own. Humans were made to become a pair that interact and complete each other, and to live having become one. You may know that all things in the cosmos were created in pairs. When you look up the noun pair in the dictionary, it is defined as something that comes in two, or a unit of counting that includes two units joined into one. Shall we first look at the animal kingdom? In the case of animals, there are males and females, and throughout their lives, they interact, mate, and bear young. Once male and female demolish cranes, become mates, they remain together for the rest of their lives. The same is true when you look at flowers and trees. Through their existence, all plants have a pistil and a stamen and produce seeds and fruits through the medium of pollen. Even the microscopic world of molecules and atoms, there exists characteristics of plus and minus such as positivity and negative ions and protons and electrons that survive, multiply and interact in harmony. Now, can you see that everything in the world really does come in pair? Then what is the reason that Heavenly Parent created all of creation in pair? There is no other reason than for love. Heavenly Parent created everything in the world in pair for there to be a subject partner and object partner, and for them to engage in a subject object partner relationship, giving love and beauty and experiencing joy. When you see animals running on the hill, you will see male and female animals. When you see butterflies, you will see male and female butterflies. Everything is made in pairs. Things that come in pairs do not change. The concept of pair of species based on love cannot be replaced by anything. They are there to interact and multiply forever. Heavenly Parent had this ideal of love when he created Adam and Eve in his image. Adam was created as the embodiment of the male characteristic of Heavenly Parent, and Eve was created as the embodiment of the female characteristics of Heavenly Parent. Adam's purpose of existence lies with Eve, and Eve's purpose of existence lies with Adam. Based on the love of Heavenly Parent, when the two halves of Adam and Eve come together as a couple and create a family, they can live as perfect embodiment of Heavenly Parent. You can feel how all beings exist in pairs and create various manifestations of loving harmony. Try picturing in your mind the entire earth like a large orchestra of love with balance, peace, and beautiful harmony. You will come to the realization that Heavenly Parents created this world as a world of love. Points of contemplation. 1. Contemplate deeply on the statement that man and woman are manifestation of just half of Heavenly Parent. What would the world be like where only man or woman existed? Look around the world that consists of pairs and try to experience the hope of Heavenly Parents who sought to achieve love. Oh, sorry. It's really incredible how simply true parents pointed out all these things that were supposed to be understood by human beings since beginning. It's such a logical and make a lot of sense. When you look to the whole creation, you see everything is in pair. Everything is masculine and feminine, and then the natural question that pop up is like, why we are like this? The simple answer is because God is like this. God is not only Heavenly Father, but it's also Heavenly Mother. He had characteristics of masculinity and femininity. And Adam and Eve was the first human beings that were supposed to manifest God's masculinity and God's femininity, becoming substantiation of God's masculinity and femininity, experiencing true love. Yet we see a history of tremendous pain. We see that Adam and Eve fall. They was kicked out from the kingdom, from the from the Garden of Eden, and we see after that a history of pain, a history of struggle, a history of war between man and woman. We see a history that experienced everything, but not true love. So yes, despite all this struggle between man and woman, starting with Adam and Eve, God, it seems, that put inside of each man things that a woman needs, that we can find value inside a man, and a man can find his value inside a woman. So a word of only man or only woman, it's out of the question, you know. And I don't enter very deep into that, don't be interpretative, but I believe that everybody, all people of good sense, it come to realize that this is not only a biblical point that man and woman should come together, but it's a biological, it is a perpetuating, it's a multiplication. It cannot exist, it cannot carry on life with a word form of only man, or a word form from woman only. It's only when man and woman come together the word can expand and develop. There is life, there is love, and there is lineage, because children is coming from there, from the relationship. And I believe that this was the secret behind the creation, because many people did not understand why God created. And if Adam and Eve fall, why God keep carry on working with people? Why God will put on the cross his beloved Son for the sake of the humankind? You know? When we look on this point of view, we see that God see each human being as his beloved son or beloved daughter, not only Jesus Christ. You know? Yeah? That God is eager to become substantial through each and every one of us because of the love. It's the ideal of love that he wanted to experience. He created a world of love because that's what God is missing the most. And we as human beings, we know that love is not by yourself. You need a counterpart. You need an object of love. You know? And through that you find your true value. So it's one of the secrets behind the teaching of Myung Moon and Hak Ja Han Moon, true parents. That is pointing out the fact that God is looking all the history, he was looking for his object of love. Yeah, this is really very, very deep, and I don't want to say much. I just hope that you will have your own contemplation and your own inspiration through this message from Heavenly Tribe Hoondok. And yeah, stay in touch with Heavenly Mom and Dad and with your parents. Wish you a great day. Bye.